Hello and welcome to From Garden to Plate. I am Alice Erickson, the creator of this channel on YouTube. I have 20 years experience. I have tried every trick and tip out there. I have gone from pots to raised bed and soil in the ground. So all the things that I'm going to teach you are going to give you an amazing yield to your garden. I also have a big passion for cooking and canning. I like to take items that are from the bounty of the harvest and put it into everyday delicious meals. There are just a few simple extra steps that I do in my cooking that implement flavor and makes me from a regular cook to a house chef. And I want to make sure that you get inspired to become a house chef too and implement your flavors that you work so hard for. If that interests you, please like and subscribe. In today's episode, I will be showing you how to properly prune a tomato plant and peppers. I will also be doing Carnitas black beans. I wanted to show you how to prune tomatoes and why it's so important to do that. I have some absolutely beautiful aromas here, but they are trying to do these little growths in between the branches, which takes away from the main branch, and it will hinder growth also to the buds because they're only paying attention. The plant is trying to put nutrients to here. So these little guys, nickname is suckers. So I will show you up close how to remove these and why you want to take these out, the lower branches, is because you're going to have water splash up from rain and you can get disease onto these leaves, and once they get more full, it's better to have proper airflows to prevent disease as well. I'll show you a close-up on how to do that in just a moment. I have two different cutting devices here. I've got really good, very nice pointed to get very intricate cuts. This is a garden scissor, and then I have the old school regular scissor for some of the thicker branches. So here is that beautiful aroma I was talking about. That is a sucker. Don't want that. I am going to cut the lower branches here. Now the reason you want to use scissors compared to, even though you got these awesome nails that you can just go clip, 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 it will be jagged and water can get trapped into where you cut and cause disease. That's why you must go in and cut with the shears, preferably at an angle. So you just go in, take those little suckers out. I already got one up here, but look at that, around the corner somebody's trying to hide. So go in and cut that out. Now I just need to get the lower branches. So I will do an angle cut. Angle makes so the water can just run off easier, prevents disease. Cut these lower branches off. And I'll show you again, and up close on another one. There is a little sucker. Those branches are going to be cut off so they don't matter. Go up here. Little guy trying right there. So now I'm going to cut my lower branches off. Nice 45. I waited a little over a week to do this because I wanted the plants to transition into the soil application. I highly suggest that. Don't do it right away because you'll end up hurting your plant. This is a lower branch, cutting away. I have my bell peppers here, and in order to get a higher yield, you want to go in and cut the buds that are starting from creating a flower until June 1st. I am zone 6A, so I don't have the longest period of growth, so I only want to stunt it for so long. But what happens when you cut the buds you are going to create more leaf, which means more possible buds for later on, so a higher yield from the plant. And that's why you want to do that. I will show you a close-up on how to properly remove those flower buds. This is a orange bell pepper, and if you see real close there, I got a bud. Use these nice nibble garden scissors. It'll take that off. The reason you don't want to use your hand is because you can cause disease, like I said earlier with tomatoes. So you just go in and take those buds right out. And you're, like I said, they're going to create more branches, more leaves, and then more buds to happen, so you will get more peppers from one plant compared to just leaving this alone and allowing it to grow the buds now. There's one right there. And that's that. Pretty cool, right? You want a bigger yield, and that's how you get it. I have preheated the slow cooker. I'm going to use some non-stick spray, avocado base. What I have here is black beans that are dried, 32-ounce bag, rinsed, ready to go. I have 2 containers of leftover broth from when I actually did the carnitas. I have the carnitas leftover in 1 cup worth that I finely chopped. 1 red onion that is small, very finely chopped. 2 Hungarian hot wax, very finely chopped. Cilantro paste, and of course, my Carnitas seasoning, which is episode 12 if you want to know how to make it. So what I start off with is putting in the broths. Then I put in the black beans. Wasn't quite enough broth because you want to cover the beans about 1 inch. So I have a 32-ounce low sodium. Reason for low sodium is because you want your salt from your seasoning to come through and not in here. So that way you can control the amount. I'm going to let that sit for a bit, and I am going to take my onions and my Hungarian hot wax and saute it on the stove. The reason you want to do that is because a raw onion has its flavor, which is yummy, but if you caramelize it and cook it a little bit, it's going to bring out more flavor. So that will go into it, and by cooking it prior to going in there, it's going to break down. And these are so small, finely chopped, so it won't take long. It'll go into the sauce, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll saute in the pan, which is get to a light golden brown on the edges, and it's ready to go. I will show you a picture of that, what that looks like. Wanted to show you a quick tip on how to get the seasoning to have a bigger impact into the flavor of the beans. What you want to do is take 1 tablespoon and put into the onions and peppers. What's going to happen is it's going to open up and warm up the essential oils that are in here from the seasoning compared to just putting it straight in there. And it will season your peppers and onions. I did not soak the dried beans overnight because the water will go into it and it will soften it, yes. But if I slow cook it and go into the beans with the flavors I want, it is so much more flavorful and it becomes so tender and very yummy. So that is why no need to soak beans overnight, and I went right with the dried right in. So now I'm gonna add my onions. Get my lid off here. Put them right in. Gonna put in the very finely chopped Carnitas. Two tablespoons worth of the cilantro paste. I am not going to put another tablespoon of seasoning in. I'm going to wait till about the last hour of cooking, which is between 8 to 9 hours, by the way. I go in the last hour right at 8 and taste the bean to make sure it's at the tenderness that I want. I want just a tiny little bit of a bite to it, but for the most part, pretty soft. The reason you don't want to cook it all the way is because, remember, you're going to reheat it and use it at a later date too. And my little sneak thing, at the very end, right before I serve, I put lime juice right on top of it. I am at the last hour point. When I was at the 2 hour points, my liquid started getting low, so I added a little bit more broth. That's chicken broth, is 75% less sodium. And that's when I added my seasoning in, because I only want to open the crock pot only a couple times. So every time you open it, you take off a half hour. So what I am trying to do now is see the tenderness of this, to see if I need to go another hour. At this point, I can see where I'm at with my flavor. You know what? We're good. It's ready. That's why you always check. This is the time that I am going to add 1 large Persian lime or 2 small ones. So I'm just going to cut it in half. Give it a good squeeze. Right in. Perfect. I'm going to show you how to contain these. So what you do is you scoop it into a container. Use a slotted spoon. Take the liquids, put some in, so that way when you warm them up, they are gonna have that liquid around it. There is starch in here from the beans, so the liquid will thicken up a little bit. You really smell that lime. So what you do is you take a piece of cellophane, then you put the lid, and you can freeze these for up to a year, and they're still just as good as the day you made them. All you got to do is thaw them out, cook them up a little bit on the stove, and they're ready. Uh-oh, I almost left you hanging and not do a taste test. Put a little bit of lime juice in there. Smells so yummy. It's got a roundabout flavor. You have a tiny little bit of heat from the Hungarian hot wax peppers. This is very good.